I guess for me it's always interesting to try and make some sort of connection, even if it's only for a brief moment. And I think of one dear lady. She was very demented. She didn't know where her room was. She was in quite a lost, confused place. But I went to visit with her one day, and her family had left a photo album in her room. And so I picked that up and I started flicking through the photos. And it was like a light came on for her for a brief moment. And she was looking at the photos with me, and she said, "Oh, that's me when I was a little girl." And she said, "Well, that's my home, that's where I lived, on a farm in Ireland." And then there were other family photos, and she was obviously getting them mixed up. She'd say, "That's my son," but it was obviously her husband or something. But she recognised the people as family, or people that were close to her. There was another lady who migrated from Scotland a number of years ago, and she was in a fixed state where every day she'd sit in the lounge room all dressed up with a handbag and everything, and in her mind she was on the ship coming out from Scotland. She'd say, "Come over here, dear, and sit with me on the deck. It's a lovely day for sailing." And I find with dealing with those sorts of people, I try to enter into where they're at. It would be very cruel to say, "Don't be so silly, you know you came out from Scotland years ago." For her, she's back there, and her little children are running around somewhere on the ship playing, and her husband's off somewhere else. And for her, it was a happy time of her life. And so I used to sort of come away from work on those days thinking, "I've had a nice sea voyage today." It's in a sense it's playing make-believe, but for some reason in her dementia she's going back to that point of time, and it's really important to her. Quite often there are those who all they want to do is go to bed. We had one lady who she would have stayed in her bedroom on her bed all day. I think she was in a depression, but she was encouraged to get up and walk around. And I think of one lady who was always immaculately dressed and very proud of her clothing, and she began to really deteriorate in that regard. But that would be a very normal part of the disease, I would imagine. There was a lady who's got quite severe dementia now, and I called to visit her one afternoon, and she wasn't quite ready for a visit, so I said I'd come back later. And then I got caught up with lots of other visiting, and it was time to go home, but I thought, will I go back or won't I? She won't remember if I don't go back. And I thought, no, I promised her I'd go. I'd better go. And when I went in, this dear lady was sitting there with 2 cold cups of tea on her little table in her bedroom, and she said, "I've been waiting for you. I got you a cup of tea when the tea trolley came around. Been waiting to have afternoon tea." So I just thought, wouldn't that have been horrible if I hadn't gone back, if I'd presumed, well, she won't remember. So I think they're people, they're real people, and it doesn't hurt to show them the courtesies and the kindnesses. I think something that has motivated me, something I remember, just a line from a conference I went to once on this topic. The leader of that workshop wrote up on the board, "We should always say people in big bold letters with dementia lowercase, not the other way around."